we are going back to basics for core training. If you look at your anatomy, the abdominal muscles, we think of them being right here. On the flip side is our low back. We have these natural curves in our spine. And what we want to try to avoid is exaggerating the lumbar curve. When we exaggerate the lumbar curve, the abdominal muscles are not engaged. They're relaxed. And without their support, the low back, lumbar curve area, sacrum, takes the brunt of what we're not allowing our abdominal muscles to support. The low back area takes the brunt of everything we do anyway. The sacrum has a little bit of movement to it for shock absorption. But as we move and flow through these vinyasas, through these standing postures, it's very easy to let this area go. When we work from this place, when we work from the middle, we're moving with much more support for our low back. And we'll want to feel the work in here without straining the low back. So just stand and just notice your spine as it's in its natural curves. We've got the thoracic and the tailbone in the same convex curve. And we have the neck and the low back lumbar in the same concave curve. Identify the bottom two ribs with one hand, and then take 2 to 3 fingers below the navel. Draw this area in, right below the navel. Draw that in. This is where all your abdominal muscles come together and become very deep. So they will provide the support that we need for all of our vinyasa, all of our standing poses, and anytime we do arm balancing. Bring these 2 points together, let it go. And just make it subtle so we're not completely flattening out the low back, and let it go. Now, we'll take this to table. Get a different feel for it, for the pelvic tilt. It's a slight pelvic tilt. In table, we do cow and cat, right? This is stretching the front side of the body. We've lifted the tailbone and exaggerated the lumbar curve. In cat, we're straightening out that lumbar curve. The position that we're talking about for abdominal work and for moving and supporting your low back with your abdominal muscles is that place in the middle. It's not the tailbone lifting up. It's not the tailbone pointing down. It's the tailbone coming to that neutral place through drawing in the bottom ribs and the low belly area. It also helps us to move our breath up into the rib cage more where we need it, where we have all these intercostal muscles, our breathing muscles. Give them a little more space to stretch, ability to stretch. Another way to feel this would be standing on your knees. You can have your toes curled under if you want. Same thing. Identify the bottom 2 floating ribs here. Identify that area, a couple fingers below the navel. Draw that low belly up, and the bottom ribs draw in just a little. And when we let this go, when we release this, then the work shifts from the abdominal muscles to the low back. And our low back gets enough work as it is. So as we are working through our yoga practices, we want to make sure that we're engaging this area to support the low back. Let's go on to our back. And what you might use the blocks for would be, we'll start with our feet on the mat. Heels in line with the sit bones, heels underneath the knees. That's where we will start. And from this place, we'll draw the low belly in and the bottom ribs, and then lift our shoulders. Sometimes that might be too much, and we want to work from where we truly are, right? Not where we think we should be. Putting your feet on the blocks can help you keep your low back in a happy place. All right, so let's move the blocks aside unless you feel like you want to try that. We'll move them aside for now. What we're looking for is we'll draw the shoulders up as the low belly and ribs are drawing closer together. This is the first step. This is a position that you will hold for 45 to 60 seconds 3 times. We won't do that now, but this is the beginning position and lower. The second position would be with the knees above the hip creases. Not up in here, not out, away. Out when you move the knees away, farther from you. If you do it right now, I'm feeling more stress in my low back. Stress just increased. You want the knees to be right above the hip crease. Same thing. Reach up, draw down, hold for 45 seconds to 60 seconds. That's stage 2. Stage 3, you come up and you can tap. 1 foot down, this would be another opportunity to have a block. Maybe going to the floor is too low. Tap and tap. What we're watching for, we're feeling for, is that place where the abdominals start to disengage and we come into the low back. That means you're not to that point yet. So let's say it happened here. That's where you would tap a block maybe. Or not put the foot down as far. We'll go ahead and rest for a moment. The next step would be from this place, drawing the belly down, ribs toward the hips. Extend one leg at a time. And so let's say we're here. This is what you hold for 45 to 60 seconds. And then you switch. Holding, you don't have the momentum working for you. Holding will give you a good, strong core. Put the head down to rest for just a moment. The next step would be both legs extend at the same time. And we hold. And as soon as you feel, I'm starting to feel my abdominals release, relax a little, I'm going to lift my legs higher, draw the belly down. And now my back is in a good place. I'm not feeling my back. As soon as you feel something in your back, compression, slight strain, you need to bring your legs up higher or bent knees up higher. Or don't tap down as low. So, with teacher training, you are on your mat more frequently, practicing a couple times a day, and it's important that you practice with awareness of your abdominals. When you look at the position that they're in and that they are engaged, and they're not engaged so much that you can't breathe, right? We have to breathe through our practice. what makes yoga the mind-body connection that it is. So if you would take a plank for a moment. Actually, your knees could be down, you could just be forward of your knees. Relax through the abdomen, and I just felt my low back feel compression. Drawing up the low belly and the bottom ribs. That gives the low back the support that it needs for this pose and for the chaturangas, the up dogs and the down dogs. And when you think of moving from this place, everything you do you'll be supporting your back. This is a supported low back. This is not. It might be difficult to see, but I sure feel it. Keeping that engaged. And many times we need to take an easier version so that of the posture so that we can keep the core engaged. But the number of times that we do the flows, the chaturangas, doing it with a relaxed abdomen just sets us up for the potential of low back strain. And then all of a sudden, the yoga practice doesn't feel like such a wonderful experience because our low back is bothering us. So the assignment is then every day, 3 rounds of one of these abdominal work positions, 3 rounds to be held 45 seconds. I would start out 45 seconds, relax for 45 seconds, and repeat that twice more. 3 rounds of 45-second holds. If it starts to get easy, 60 seconds. Holding builds that stability, that strength that we want. And then you progress to the next level, and then the next. And then we'll have more fun abdominal work to do after that. So you're in yoga teacher training. Take care of you. Take care of your low back through the gentle engagement of the low belly and the bottom ribs. Keep practicing. Namaste.